If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and another cutting video. Today I'm going to be cutting along with you the Wayfarer Sling. I'm doing the sling size in this video of the Wayfarer Sling backpack. The Wayfarer Sling backpack by a Quaint stitch. I'm super excited to be cutting this one out. I've been wanting to make this for quite some time. Now, just a note, I do not have a picture of my bag due to we are cutting it out today. Unfortunately, I can't legally share pictures of other people's Wayfarers because I don't own them, and I have to be very careful with the copyright of pictures and that kind of thing, and it would just take a very long time for me to go and ask permission to use those pictures. So if you do not know what the Wayfarer Sling looks like, please do follow the link down below in the description to the designer's website, where there are a ton of tester pictures there, and you're going to see when you look at those pictures the many different combinations you can use. You can do it in a solid color, you could use 3 colors, you can use 2 colors. This bag is going to look so different depending on your style and what fabrics you are choosing to make with it. I am doing mine in a 2-colored tone on the exterior. I am going to be using vinyl on my exterior, softer vinyl. This bag is meant to be a kind of a floppy bag. It's not meant to be super structured, and the good news about that is it has very minimal interfacing, so that's always great. First off, let me show you what I will be using for this bag. Okay, one sec, let me grab it here. Okay, so the main color of my bag is going to be this lovely gray. This vinyl is the Luxxe, the new Luxxe vinyl from Galaxy Customs. So this is going to be the main color of my bag. So if you're looking at a picture of this right now, it's going to be that I'm doing the style number 2. It's going to be that front flap as well as the back and the main parts of the bag. Now I'm doing the 2 zipper pocket option, and that behind that gray flap is going to be this rose quartz pinks Luxxe faux leather. So those are going to be my exterior fabrics for that. I hope it's going to look as good as I think it's going to look in my head. For my lining fabric, this is going to be my main lining fabric. This is Sunny Delight from Michael Miller Fabrics. It's super pretty, and it's going to tie the pink and the gray in together. For my zipper, what are they called? Zipper facings. Now, I don't want the fabric for my zipper facings to be something that's going to jump out at me and say, hey, I'm here. So I'm just going to use some scraps. I have this gray color here. This is what I'm going to cut my zipper facings out of. So when it's on this exterior, you're not going to really see it too very much. It's going to kind of fade in with everything. So I am going to use a facing fabric in a cotton that matches my exterior, just so it's not as visible. Now, if you do want that to be visible, it adds a really nice faux piping type look too around those zippers. So you'll see as we get into that. For my pen pockets and my card slot pockets, I'm going to be using this gray cotton. So I'm using like 3 different lining fabrics here. This was in my stash. I don't think it says what the, let's see if it says what it is on its salvages. Yeah, the salvages have no name on it, so I'm assuming it's a Fabricville type cotton. I would have just gotten it at Fabricland. So that is what I'm using for my fabrics. Interfacing wise, all my cotton pieces I'm going to be backing with EB Fuse Lite, which is similar to an SF101 or a woven fuse, whatever. So any medium woven interfacing that you have. My vinyl pieces, I'm not backing with anything like that. It'll just be as is. It is recommended in the pattern, and again, this is optional if you don't want to do it. The back panel, I'm going to be basting foam to it. That's just to give it a little extra squishy part to the back, and for that I am going to be using Pretty in Pink So Foam from Galaxy Customs. It's a little bit of a dense foam. It doesn't have to be a foam this dense. You can use Pellon, you can use by any soft stable, etc., etc. I'm also going to use this for my strap foam. The pattern says you can use fleece or foam for those. For my gadget pocket, I am going to be putting headliner foam in it. So this isn't as dense, but it's just going to add a little bit more cushioning for your iPad or your tablet or whatever in there. So I'm putting that in. You could use regular foam, you can use fleece. These are just what I'm going to be using. I also get this headliner foam from Galaxy Customs. I also have this lightweight mesh fabric from it's by Annie's lightweight mesh fabric. I just bought it in an Emmaline bag, so there is a slip pocket, a mesh slip pocket in there, so I will be using that. And I won't be cutting this with you today, but this is the webbing for parts of the straps, and I just got this from Blue Cala. So, oh, and there is a part in the pattern where it says to cut kind of like a binding piece for the mesh pocket. Rather than cut that piece, I have this little scrap of actual binding, so I'm not going to cut that fabric out. I'm actually going to use up some of my scraps of binding and use them up, because like this is all I have of that color, and I saved it because I'm Brandy and I have a problem. So that is what we are going to be using. That's what we're going to be cutting in this video today. So I really hope you enjoy this. Let me clean all this up and then we'll get started, and I'll show you my process of cutting out this bag. All right, so let's get to cutting this. So this is my second take on this because right off the hop, I made a mistake. So this is a good example to show why I always draw my pieces on the back of my vinyl first, because I started drawing out my pieces, I started making this video, and then I realized I was doing this piece, which is our flat piece, in the wrong color, not the color that I wanted. So if I had cut that already, I would have been 100% committed to that. But I realized what I did wrong, I erased what I recorded, and we will go from there. Okay, so what I like to do is I have my cutting chart here. This bag probably took me a good hour to sit down and figure out in my head what colors I wanted to do, where I wanted to place them, what color combinations I would have gone with. Again, this will look great in 3 colors, 2 colors, 1 color. I'm doing mine in 2. So then what I did is I just went with an erasable pen, an air erase pen or a pencil, and I just went beside the pattern pieces and I just marked down the colors I wanted to do them so I wouldn't get confused, even though it didn't help me a moment ago, but hey, that's what happens. So I'm going to start first with the pieces I want to do in pink. I've already pulled out all of those pattern pieces, so I have them all here. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw these out on the back of my vinyl. Now, one thing you're going to see is because I don't have very many pieces that I'm doing in the pink, you're going to see I'm going to try to leave, and this is for me thinking for future bags that I'm making. So you will see that I will leave a top about 4 inches for the whole width if I can, because that could be a crossbody strap for a future bag if I need it. So I'm not going to use this whole half meter, or this whole half meter of vinyl for the sections that I have going with the pink. So I'm always trying to think ahead of how can I use up the scraps of these. And this is a luxury vinyl, so it's a little bit more pricey than others, so I definitely want to be able to get my most out of it for this project and future projects. So I know I can leave that up there, so when I go to do my next bag in this vinyl, I will have a big enough piece good for straps or a crossbody strap. So that is just my thinking. It has nothing to do with the Wayfarer. It's just how my brain works as I'm cutting out vinyls, because I mean, I'm the one that kept a piece of binding this big in case I may need it in a future project. So I'm very frugal. Okay, so we're going to go down the list for everything I marked pink. So I have to do in my exterior fabric, main body panel, pink, cut 1. And as I do them, I go ahead and I just use my Sew Line Air Erase pen and I cross it out. Now the reason I use the Air Erase pen is by the time I go back to do this again, the pen marks are going to be gone. I'm going to have a fresh piece of paper and I didn't have to do any work. So okay, so let's cut out that piece. So I just use a regular pen. If you're using a more sheer vinyl or a light vinyl, make sure your pen marks do not show through to the right side. This one is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw this. Make sure I'm staying away, because you can see it's got a good chunk of salvage there. So I'm making sure it's away from there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw this on. So again, I'm doing style 2 of the sling bag. I've got something hanging out. There we go. Something made me go a little bumpy. Trace it out. So that's my main body done, and I have that crossed off. I'm going to put the pattern piece aside, because when I go to cut this out, I will clip them together. Okay, so next in pink, I want to do my narrow gusset piece. So I'm actually going to go right about here with that. Again, trying to use the most that I can of my vinyl. Make sure I'm staying away from that salvage. And we have to cut one of these. So I'm going to draw it out. And when I get to this part that says fold, I'm just going to do a little line along there. Because rather than cutting on the fold, I'm drawing on the fold. Vinyl's hard to cut on the fold because this seam never gets flat when you fold it. So you always end up, I do anyways, with like an extra 1/4 inch, and you just don't want that. Then I'm going to flip this over, line up those lines at that center mark. What's nice about that is it gives you your center marks for when you go to sew it. So you have your center marks already marked. I always end up going and doing small snips as well, but then you can see that you are nice and centered because you match up with your drawing marks. Excuse me. Okay, so that's my narrow gusset, and I sometimes like to write what it is. Again, make sure your pen doesn't show through the other side, and I'm okay. Narrow gusset. This was my main. Okay, so I can set that aside for when you need to do the lining. Mark off on here that we have cut that one. Okay, which one do I want to do next? I think this will fit nicely in there. Okay, so for my vinyl accent piece, I'm using option number 1. There has a shorter one and a longer one. This is the one I chose. So I'm going to draw this one out. And this one will actually be a raw edge. So along this raw edge, once it's cut out, I'm going to edge paint that. You don't have to edge paint it, but I love edge painting. Quite go to the edge there. Okay, so that's my vinyl accent piece. I can set that aside, and I can mark 1. Okay, next. Okay, I think I'm going to go in because I'm trying to think of how to save these. Now for my strap anchors, how many of these do we cut? Make sure I'm cutting these right. Strap anchors, we're going to cut 4. So my strap anchors, I want to have dual colors. So the right side I'm going to have the gray vinyl, but the underside I'm going to have this pink vinyl. So I'm going to cut 2 of these in the pink, and then I'm going to do 2 of them in the gray, and I'm going to just kind of fit them in here because I think I can use up a bunch of vinyl space this way. So I'm going to draw out 2 of these, and again we will go back in when we do the gray and cut 2 more. And I match up that bottom line just because then that's one swipe with my rotary blade. Okay, so, and because I still have 2 more to go with that, I am just going to put where my strap anchors are, I'm going to cross out the 4 and I'm going to put 2. So I remember I have to go back in because trust me, yeah, sometimes I forget so often. Okay, so I'm now going to draw out my wide zipper gusset. And it is on the fold as well. So you can see I'm kind of just working with the bottom part of that. Ignore this part. Again, that was something I drew in wrong. And you don't have to save all this vinyl. If you want to cut all the way up that way, absolutely go for it. This is just how my mind works and thinking in the future. Okay, so my wide zipper gusset, I'm doing in pink. So this is the part that's going to be around those 2 pockets that are stuck together behind the flap. So I got to draw out one of these. And this is when I hope, because I've never made this bag before. This is my first time cutting it and my first time making it, as is most of my videos. So hopefully I have the pieces right in my head. We will find out as we go. So again, it was on the fold. I made my center marks. Coco says hi to everybody. And I'm going to write wide zip gusset. Okay, and then I'm going to go to my cutting list and mark that off. Wide zip gusset, exterior cut. Okay, now for my strap, I want to do the same idea as I did with my strap anchors, and I want to have a dual colored strap that's going to come over. So I'm going to be doing 1 in pink, which will be the underside of the strap, and 1 in gray, which will be the top side of the strap. As long as I position them properly when I'm sewing them together, it will work out. So I'm going to draw 1 pink of these, and I'm going to line it up on this line. So that's a fast cut again, because they both share a straight line. Now these, she has these as pattern pieces. If you are a ruler measurer, go for that. I'm actually one that prefers to use a ruler, but I'm doing it this way for now. I may switch out. We will see what happens. But she does have the measurements for these if you prefer to do measurement cut rather than template cut. Oh, my computer's making noise. Let me shut that off. There we go. So this is under, I'm going to call this under strap. Okay, set that aside. And I'm going to just mark again because that piece called for 2 pieces. So for my strap piece, I'm going to cross up the 2 and I'm going to put a 1. So remember I have to cut another one. Okay, and then I think, yes, this is my last pink piece. So this is the top strap tab. So this is the part at the top of the bag. So it'll be kind of at the top of the bag here where the sling comes up and around there. So once again, I want the underside to be pink and my top side is going to be gray. So I'm going to draw 1 pink piece. I'm going to, oh, I feel like I won the lottery because look how good that fits in there. Perfection. Again, I'm all about using as much vinyl as I can. So I'm going to add a little bit more. So you can see this didn't take up very much of this at all. And then I have a ton more and a crossbody straps worth for the next project. So I think I already know my next project for this one. And I'm sharing this straight line along here and down and across. This is top strap tab, and I'm just going to put underside under, just so I remember this is the underside. So now that we have all these pink pieces done, we can go ahead and we can cut these out. So you can cut them out with scissors. I am a rotary cutter girl, so I am going to go ahead and use my rotary cutter. I probably should have changed my blade, but I already know that I haven't. So I'm just going to cut this away. I want to just cut away from the rest of my fabric here, and then I am working with a much smaller piece, and I can cut them all out. Oh, there we go. So I can put this aside for the next project. I already know what I'm going to use it for. I think I will have enough. So I have all of this that I can use by planning it out and drawing it. I have all this I can use for another project, as well as the width for a potential crossbody strap that could happen. We'll see what happens. All right, and then we can go ahead and we can cut all of this out. And as I get a piece done, I match it up with its pattern piece as well. And I'm going to put this aside because I know I still have to cut my lining piece for this. And I just hold them together like so. And I have my basket of pattern pieces that I have to cut. Because I have more to cut with this, I'm going to throw it into that so I know I'm cutting more. Here's my shoulder strap. Now the reason I use a rotary cutter and not scissors is because I have pretty serious carpal tunnel syndrome and the scissors kill me. So I have become really, really good with my rotary cutter. It doesn't bother me as much as like this motion. See, that already hurts me with the scissors. So if you have carpal tunnel like I do, become one with your rotary cutter because it just makes it a lot less painful. In my opinion. I'm not a doctor, but it works for me. Okay, so that is my narrow zipper gusset. Again, this is going to go right back. This is for style 2 only. So if you're doing style 1, you're only doing the 1 zipper pocket. You wouldn't have to worry about this, but I'm doing that dual zipper pocket because I'm going all in. Okay, so I'll put this back in my to be cut out bin because we have a lining piece to cut for that still. Same with this one because I still have the other exterior piece to cut. And this overlay here, I am actually going to throw on my edge painting table, because I am going to get this edge painted tonight, so it's all ready for when I sew this up tomorrow. This is the only piece we're edge painting in this. Usually I change up the linings to my style of lining, but this pattern I am going to do it as per the pattern because it is a bag so different from any bag that I've ever made, and I just think it's going to be really awesome. So this here, this is the piece where I will go through it on my edge painting table, and I'm going to be edge painting just along here because this will have this raw edge. So you're doing this in vinyl, and it's around here, right along this edge. Now this is an optional piece to the bag. You do not need to do this piece if you don't want to. So I'm gonna go and just throw this over here, my edge painting table. Here's my strap connectors. Again, I have to do my other 2 still in the other vinyl fabric. No, you do not need to make this bag in vinyl. You can definitely make it in cottons or canvases as well. I don't know if I would make it in a really stiff vinyl. Again, I'm using a luxurious suede-like vinyl, so it's nice and soft and it's not too thick. So okay, so I'll take those and their pattern piece, put it in the bin, and then my main piece. So this one I do have to cut lining pieces for, so it'll go in the still needs to be cut bin as well. So I usually have 3 bins running at a time when I do a pattern just to organize things. And once we get to the lining ones, then I will have a bin for things to be interfaced bin. I love it when you get past the prep work and get right into the sewing. The cutting and the prep work and the interfacing is not my favorite part of bag making at all. I like choosing the fabrics out though. That's always fun. Okay, so that is done. We will put this into the to be cut bin. I'll get this all cleaned up and then we will start cutting our next color. All right, so now I have my exterior vinyl. Now this I hope you're going to be able to see because it's very rarely you have a vinyl that has a really dark backing like this. So my pen doesn't show, so I'm going to use my Soline pencil, white pencil. So hopefully you guys will be able to see what I'm drawing out. And if you can't, I apologize, but I don't have anything else. So I could use my silver Tandy pen, but I only have one left and I'm not going to Tandy for another month and I don't want to use it up. So, okay, so now we are going to go through again on the list. We need 2 front flap exteriors. Now I am also seeing once again that I will not be using this whole piece of vinyl for this. So I am going to try to keep that top free for future projects. Crossbody strap worth. I know I'm a weirdo, but this is what I do. My name is Brandy. I have a problem. Okay, so again, I'm making sure I'm not using the selvage, and I'm going to draw out 2 of these. Now I already drew out 2 of these on the pink one by accident, so okay. So hopefully you can see, I can see the marks, which is good. Draw out 2 of these in the gray. Again, me thinking about crossbody straps has nothing to do with this bag. It has to do with future projects. If I don't run out of chalk in this thing. I don't use this pencil hardly ever. I'm thankful I have it today. Can you guys see that mark? Oh, you can see it on camera. Good. Okay, and then I'm going to put these... I got to do my other one this way, and the reason I'm doing this is I know that in this mark here, in this space, so I can use up that amount of vinyl, I can get those 2 strap connectors that I want out of that space, so I'm not wasting anything. Coco says hi again. It said school's just getting out here, so and I live on the same street as a school, so she likes to get very protective of the sidewalk. Oops. Doesn't go as smooth as my pen, but that's okay. Got my general idea. Come on, stop breaking. Okay, so that's those 2 drawn out. Cross that up here, front flap, done. So this one is completely done. There's no lining or anything else to cut out for it, so I'm going to cross it off all the way across. Main body panel, I don't have to do. Back panel. So I'm going to draw that out here. So I need 1 of these. I'm just lining up this line so I can get that all in one go with my rotary cutter when I go. Probably only saves 1 second, but do you know what? That time adds up eventually. Uh-oh, I'm gonna run out. Okay, there's my back. Back. Out of side. cross it off. Back panel, exterior done. Okay. Next, a top zipper panel, which is this piece. And I'm just trying to see where I can fit things in here. Okay, I think I'm just gonna put this one right here. Or maybe like this. Right there. So I can, again, I'm trying to use up as much vinyl as I possibly can, and I know I can use up this middle empty space for one of the other pieces. Because as we all know, if you can conserve and not waste stuff, just on the fold, bag making is not a cheap hobby, that's for sure. Worth it though. So we're just doing one of these all the way over. That's kind of a funny shape for me, but that's okay. I probably could have orientated this differently to get better use of the space, but I'm all in right now. I'm committed, so we're going with it. Okay. Whoops. Not done yet, Brandy. There we go. Okay. So that is top zipper panel done. Top zipper panel, we'll have a lining piece to do for that one still. Top strap, that's where I know I can fit this in here. So I'm going to draw my top strap in here, right here. Okay. And that's the top strap. So that's both of my pieces done. And I can cross that out. I do have my interfacing piece that I still have to cut out for that one, which will be the foam. Okay, and my strap anchors. So I need 2 of these, and I was figuring I could fit them into this space here, and I can. One. I'll go this way. So I'll have a little bit more scrap with this one, but that's okay. 2. Uh-oh, where'd those other 2 pieces go? What did I do with them? There they are. Phew, panic. I thought I lost them. And then I think we just have the strap piece to do. So I did manage to save a crossbody's worth there. I'm actually going to put this, I think I'm going to do this one right here, just because this kind of went up high, just to use up some of that space and keep some of the space on the other side for the next project. Isn't it a fun place to be in my thinking brain? I'm curious to know how many others think the same way as I do when you're planning out your pieces before cutting. Does anybody else do it this way? Comment below, let me know. Oops, I forgot my middle lines. So this marks the centers as well. Flip. And this is the top side of that strap. I do not like drawing with this pencil. That is doing the trick, so we're okay. All right. I think I forgot to cut out the end of that one. Let's do that quickly. Okay. We'll just double check with my planned out list here. So I had pink, I got my strap is done. So I can cross that out. I do need to do my foam fleece with that, but we'll do that later. My strap anchors, I got all of those. I can cross those out all the way across. Exterior back panel, done. So I can see all of my exterior pieces right here are all crossed off. So we're good with our exteriors. And now we can go ahead and cut this out. And I got a good piece of scrap here, which will definitely be helpful. I actually need this one for, I have another roll of this one for the clasp bag we will be doing in this, because I'm doing a gray and black one in the same way. I'm just going to cut all of this away from the big pieces, and then I'm only cutting the pieces what we need. Okay, so all of this, I've got a good crossbody strap's length. This would be really good for a crossbody strap. Put that aside. And then we can go ahead and cut these out. So I have another bin for the pieces that I don't have to do anything else with. They're all done cutting. They don't need interfacing, etc., etc. So I know I'm done working with them. So these strap anchors will go into that. Now, if these were cotton pieces, you would definitely be backing them with a medium open interfacing. Mine are vinyl, so I'm not going to worry about it. Feels weird not to interface a bag. It really does. So I'm so used to adding foam or deckable light or what have you to my pieces, but okay. My two flat pieces. And I don't need to do anything else with those, so those can go in the ready to sew bin. Okay. So actually we don't have that much scrap. Like, we're doing pretty good. And I have just a small pile. I feel like I've done something very successful. Well, we have those large scrap pieces, but they definitely will get utilized. They're big enough. They're usable pieces. And there's my exterior back, and I do see I need to do a lining piece, so I'm going to throw this back into my bin of pattern pieces to cut still. And then once that bin of pattern pieces to cut still is empty, we know we are all done with our cutting. Okay. How do I want to do this? Let's get this strap out of the way. And this strap is done as well, so we can put it in our ready to sew bin. this into my tab strap thing, and this one is all done as well, so it can go into the ready to sew bin. I've just got this piece left. It's an awkward angle to rotary cut around. There we go. Okay, and then we still need a lining piece for this, so it will go back into the stuff to cut bun. And look at that. That is all of the unusable scrap that we have. That's pretty good. I'm proud of that. Okay, I'm going to get this all cleaned up, and then we will work on our cotton pieces. Okay, so now we're going to work with my main lining pieces. I've already gone ahead and I've pulled out all of the pattern pieces that I want done in this fabric. I find that helpful. Just kind of pull them out of your bin and put them aside, and then you're not accidentally cutting something you don't want to cut. All right, so let's see what we got here. All right, so we need 3 of these main body lining pieces. If you're doing style 2, I'm doing style 2, so I will be cutting those. If you're doing style 1, you only need 1 of these. So I need to do 3, and I want to get this over with as fast as I can. So I am actually, that'll be cutting 4. I'm going to cut 2 at the same time. Actually, do you know what? I can go like this. Whee! Just make sure this piece will fit in here, and it will. And I'm going to fold this 3 pieces deep. So I've got 3 layers going there. So I know I can cut all 3 at the same time. Making sure you're not getting your salvages here. I'm going to take some pattern weights. Now these cotton pieces I will be backing with EB Fuse Lite or a medium woven interfacing as well. If you're using a waterproof canvas, you definitely don't have to do that. So I'm just going to go in with my rotary cutter and cut all 3 of these pieces at once. Come on, need a new blade. Okay, and with my pattern weights on there, I can just turn this. It's going to hold it all so I can get at a good angle to cut the rest of the way around. All right. My blade is dull, but I'll get one more job out of it. Okay, so that should leave us with 1, 2, 3. So those are done. I'm going to put it with my main body panel piece here. And because I have these ones here, I'm going to put these into the to be interfaced bin. And then it's the same thing over and over again. When that bin is empty and everything's in the ready to be sew bin, we are happy. So this is the to be interfaced bin. Next, I have to do one, actually I cross off my list first so I don't forget anything. Where did my pen go? I'm losing everything. Oh, the other one. It's here somewhere. Okay, so lining side, I've got my main pattern pieces. I've got 3 cut. All I have to do is woven. I'm just going to cross that off because I know I have to do that woven. Main back panel. Now I'm going to cut this piece as well as a foam piece. Now, if you're using a fusible foam or fleece, there is a pattern piece that has it outside of the seam allowances. I'm just going to cut a foam piece the same size as this, and then I'm just going to kind of trim it back a little bit along there because I'm using a sew-in foam. So I won't be using the pattern piece for the foam. I'll just be cutting it. So this piece, I am going to need foam, which I will base to the exterior piece. And of course this one I will need woven interfacing on the back of it. So this will go into the to be interface bin. I actually won't be basting the foam on right away. You'll see that when we get into the tutorial. I'll be putting on the back pocket before I put the foam on. So you'll see what we do when we get there. So just know that you need to cut the foam, or you can just wait. I will be waiting until I actually finish the pieces, and then I'll use my back panel as my template for cutting that piece of foam later on, which is my usual way of doing it. But this I will definitely be interfacing. But if you are using a fusible product, you will want to put that fusible foam or fusible fleece or whatever it is you're using on the back of this. You'll want to fuse that before we start sewing. Okay, so this will go into the to be interface bin. So that was the back panel done. Okay. Next, top zipper panel, this funky piece here. And I'm actually going to cut this one on the fold. Fabric's a lot easier to cut on the fold because it doesn't give you a wacky shape or any, this folds nice and flat. So to hold that in place on this fold, I'm just going to use a couple hair clips like so, and then one of my pattern weights like that, maybe another one right here. And I'm going to go in like so. Again, if you're using directional fabric, make sure you know you have it pointing the right way. I'm not really using a directional fabric, so I'm not overly worried about it. Okay. So this will go into the to be interfaced bin. Cutting linings goes so much faster. To be interface bin. Okay, so that is our top zipper panel done. Now we have to do one of our narrow zipper gussets on the fold. I'm going to fold it upwards. Let me put all my pattern weights back away. There's my pen. So we got a couple pieces to do on the fold here, so I might do them all at once. We'll see. What's the other one I have to do on the fold? This one. I'm going to do these side by side. So again, the fold is on the fold of the fabric when it's folded up. I'm going to use a clip to hold that in place. I'm going to do this one at the same time and clip it in place along the bottom. A couple pattern weights just so it doesn't shift. And I'm going in. There we go. So that's my wide zipper gusset going into the to be interfaced bin, and my narrow zipper gusset. And you can see I always keep all of my pieces together, then I know what they are. Okay, and then all I think I have left is my gadget pocket. So I got my narrows done. Now my gadget pocket, I need 2 pieces of these. So I'm going to cut them at the same time on the fold, and I'll show you my trick to doing that. I'm going to cut off all of this excess. And yes, I will save this much because it will be something, I'm sure. Okay. I want to cut this. Let's try here. Okay, so I want to cut 2 at the same time. So what I am going to do is I'm going to fold this up, wrong sides together or right sides together. Make sure there's enough width to it. So this is the fold for on the fold, but I want to cut both at the same time. So I'm going to fold this onto itself like this, which will create a secondary fold there. So I can cut two on the fold at once. So now I'll put this on the fold. So you can see 1, 2. Oops, I'm not quite far enough away from these salvages. We do not want to have salvages in our pieces. Use a couple clips to hold it in place with that fold. My hands are not wanting to work. Holy moly. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut on the fold both pieces out at the same time. Always do the linings last because it goes so fast, and then I feel like I'm like in the home stretch type thing. Okay, so if we did that right, we should have 2 lining gadget pockets. And we do, and those will also get interfaced. Now one of these lining gadget pockets, the exterior one, I am going to back with my woven interfacing, and also for one of them, just the one that'll be at the front of the gadget pocket, I am going to baste on my headliner foam just for that extra cushioning for my gadget here. For my iPad, or I actually don't know if an iPad will fit in here. I'm kind of hoping it does, but I'm thinking it won't. An iPad mini will. We will see when it's all done. Okay, so that can go into the to be interfaced pile. And let's see here. So I have my gadget pocket done. Okay. Do I want to do anything else in this fabric? That is a good question. Everything else is like a mobile foam pocket, card slot pocket. I think I'm going to do them in the more solid colors so they kind of stand out from this busy print. This will go into my scrap bin for another project. I have plenty left here to make like a bag of some sort, so that makes me happy. So I'll go clean this up, and then we will finish this up and we'll be done. Okay, so this is for all of our inside pockets, the linings, the pen slots, all that. And I just thought it was nicer to have, I mean, it still has a print, but it's more of a solid color, and I think that'll really look nice with that other print because it's so busy. Okay, so I have already gone ahead and I've pulled out all of the pieces that I want to be cutting in this fabric. Okay. Again, all of these will also be backed with woven interfacing. So let's go down the list that I have to do. Zipper facing panel. We're going to do the zipper facing panels next because that's another fabric again. Zipper pocket panels. I need 6. So let me find that piece. Zipper pocket panels. So style 1, you need to cut 4. Style 2, which I'm doing, I need to cut 6. So I'm going to cut as many of these as I can. Now, with the rotary cutter, you don't want to go too crazy with this because it does sometimes end up being a little bit hard to get through those layers. I am going to try to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That'll be 2. So once again, it's on the fold, right? And I'm going to be folding it upon itself and hope I can get through it. So there's 1 fold, 2 folds, and I'm going to go for a 3rd fold to try to cut 3 at the same time, and then I can repeat it for the other 3. So let's see if my rotary blade is sharp enough to do this. Making sure it's all smooth underneath. Place this down. It's going to be fine. Cut all 3 at the same time. These don't have to be super duper accurate, just somewhat accurate. If they're a little messy, it's not a big deal. They're zipper pocket linings. So I should have 3. So that's 1. Come on, hands, work. 2, 3. So that's 3. I'm going to do the exact same thing again to cut the other 3. I don't think I can get it out of there. So let's cut off this excess. I'm going to do it right where we did it before, fold it up. Make sure it's wide enough, and it is. And we're going to fold it 3 times. 1. Make sure we stay even under there. And 3. Peel through, make sure there's nothing else stuck there. Where'd it go? There we go. Nah, I did it a little bit big, but that's okay. I'm not gonna unfold it. So I'm gonna go through and cut all 3. Can you hear my rotary cutter working? I'll definitely have to change my blade after this one. So we know we have 3, 4, 5, and 6 to go into the 2B interface. So again, I'm not doing interfacing, cutting interfacing with you. You'll cut your interfacing in the exact same way we've done here, and then fuse it on. So these will be medium woven interfacing into the interfacing bin. Cross off of here all 6 of my zipper pocket panels, and these are the ones where she also has a measuring cut if you don't want to be using the templates and you just want to use your ruler. This pen has died. Rest in peace, pen. There we go, new pen. Okay, back zipper pockets, we need 2. So that's this one, and I'm going to do the exact same thing again. I'm going to use up some of this down here. I'm going to fold it up. Make sure there's enough. There is right about there. I'm going to fold it in half this way. Oh, no, that's not going to work. If I go to there? No. So I've got a slit in it right here. I'm going to just get rid of this one. Garbage. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on its side. I'm actually going to go like this. I'm going to cut this chunk off. Work with the smaller piece. Fold it up. Make sure it's going to fit a little bit more because I got a slit there. Fold it in half. Make your 2 folds and cut both at the same time. So this fabric I'm using was actually in my scrap bin, and it was left over from a quilt backing that I did. So I'm constantly working out of my scrap bins. So that's 1, 2, that is done, and this will be backed with a woven interfacing into the 2B interface bin. So that's my back zipper pocket panel. Next is the pen pocket. We only need 1 of these on the fold. Let's start working ourselves this way. Again, it's not a directional fabric, so I don't have to worry about my print going the wrong way. I'm going to put this on the fold and cut it out. And then once again, all of these pieces will be backed with the woven interfacing. All cotton pieces, even when we do our zipper facings. Especially if you're on an industrial machine, because if you do not back them with a woven interfacing, your machine will just eat up the cotton. As long as you have a medium woven interfacing, your machine will not eat it. I'm on a 1541, which is a very powerful machine, and with I sew with cotton all the time as long as I have a medium woven interfacing on it. Okay, so that pen pocket is done. I can cross that off my list. Into the 2B interfaced. We're in the Homestretch mobile pocket. We only need 1 of these. Look, I can just put it along here on my fold. And cut it out. And that one is done. Look how fast we're going now. Mobile pocket's done. Card slot pocket. Card slot pocket. We need one of these. Ooh, I think I'm going to get lucky right here. Put it on the fold. Look at that. You gotta love it when it all matches up so you don't waste too much. And go ahead and cut that one out. Just like so. And that'll be interfaced. Card slot backing. Just this little itty bitty piece. Oh, where was that chunk I threw away? Nope, it won't fit. So this one's on the fold as well. Fold it up. Place on the fold. That's one of those. That'll be interfaced. Card slot backing. And that's it for this one. So I'll go clean this up and then we will do our mesh pocket as well as our facings. Okay, we're almost done. Well, we do have to cut our interfacing, but you know, cutting interfacing is like woven interfacing. You just kind of rough cut it. As you know, I do. You can always see that in my videos, and then I trim the interfacing out and fuse it. So interfacing goes pretty fast. Okay, so this is that for the zipper facings we were talking about, where I do not want these to show on the exterior of the bag too much. I don't want them drawing attention, because this is where we're going to be, I'm not doing a vinyl overlay for these. We're doing these as per the pattern. So we will be cutting a hole and we will be turning it through and then top stitching and all that with it. So we are going to go ahead and cut these out. So for, this is my back facing, I need one of these. Again, you can use your ruler. There's ruler measurements if you prefer that. These are also interfaced with the woven interfacing, especially if you're on an industrial machine. Come on. My rotary blade is so done. It has been used. Okay, so that's to the to be interface bin. Next one, style 2 is what I'm doing, so I need 2 of these. If you're doing style 1, you just need 1. Is it going to fit here? It sure will. I'm going to fold this up and I'm going to cut 2 at the same time. So you know what? I'm going to cut this one first because I only need 1 and it's going to use up this space really well. So this is the number M, or letter M front interfacing. Cut it out. To be interfaced, and then we can do this one. And yes, this is a scrap piece. I have a whole bin of scrap stuff. I save everything. I even have a bin of scrap interfacing. Like, it's unbelievable. I franken-face stuff sometimes, especially with woven interfacings. Okay, so I'm cutting 2 of these because I'm doing style 2. If you're doing style 1, you only need 1. Okay, so that's it for the facings and this one. And now we just have our mesh pocket to do. So if you're making your own binding, you said you would cut out this piece with your lining or whatever color, but I'm going to just use the scrap. Look how perfect is that scrap? That's why I kept it. And so I'm not going to cut this out. I'm just going to use this piece of binding that I had in my scrap bin instead. So you do not need to interface this, I don't believe. No, do not interface your binding. You don't have to do that. So that can go into the ready to sew bin. And then we have our mesh pocket, which I'm doing in gray. Check it out. said Emmaline Bags has this in so many colors, but one package, this is how much comes in a package. It's a 1/2 meter. It's 18 by 54. So I'm going to just cut my mesh on a fold with this. Doesn't really matter which way you do it. I don't know if you can really see what I'm doing. I put this along the fold. And then I'm just going to cut it. And that's it for the mesh. Ta-da! Is it just one? Yeah, just one. Put that into the to be sew bin. And I have all of this left over. I actually have this in white as well. I don't go through mesh very often. That's it. So I'm guessing that took about, I don't know how long this part of the video is, but probably about 1:15 to cut out, not including the interfacing. I think it'll take me probably about another 15 minutes to cut out the interfacing and probably another 15 minutes or so to fuse it. I will be doing that right after this video. I like to interface my stuff the night before I sew, mainly because, and I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason behind this, but in my head, I don't like to work with stuff that is fusible the day of. I seem to think, and I may have heard it somewhere, but don't quote me on it, that when you leave it overnight and you don't work with it right away, it stays adhered better. So I'm going to cut my interfacing. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fuse it to all of my cotton pieces. I will cut my foam pieces, not for the back panel, but the strap stabilizer and the top strap stabilizer I will cut out of the pink sew foam. This stuff with the actual pattern pieces, so they're a little bit smaller. And for the foam, you actually, after you sew it, you put the foam in. If you're using fusible fleece, you may want to fuse these to the exterior pieces of these two pieces beforehand. But I'm using sew and foam, so I will just be sliding them in. And then my other foam I will be cutting as I get to it in the tutorial, which you will see when we go. I will instruct you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and when. All right, so I really do hope you guys like this cutting video. Again, if you need to see pictures of the Wayfarer, you can definitely go, link down below is the website to a Quaint stitch where all the testers are. If you're seeing this at a later date, after the day that I have posted this, there is already a Meet the Bags video up for you, which gives you a video tour of this bag that we just cut out today, as well as the tutorial. So yeah, and if you're seeing this the day that I have done it, you don't get a preview because I haven't sewn it yet. Anyways, I hope you guys did like this cutting video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Woo! Wow. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. If you'd like to support my channel further, definitely go ahead, buy me a coffee. That link is down below. And if you want to do some more sew along type classes, I do have that on live sew along classes and the replays of those, including the one for this bag, which is our March 2023 Tuesday bag that we are doing. If you want to see the replays of those, you can definitely do so as well. You just have to join the membership to be able to see all of the class replays. All that's linked down below. There may be something you like there. And if not, if you're seeing this on the public side, the cutting tutorial will be posted, or not the cutting tutorial, the actual tutorial will be posted tomorrow, so the Saturday. The cutting videos go up on the Friday and the tutorials and Meet the Bags goes up on the Saturday. Anyways, until the next one, I'll see you guys again. Bye bye.